To moderate this session, I'm going to be calling up on stage Mr. RANA BASU THAKUR, Chief Mentor, Marketing, PR, Actor, Producer, Just Lateral Thinking Solutions. Give it up for my speakers over here. I'm going to be calling them in alphabetical order. Actually, not alphabetical order, they're just in random order. PREETI SARKAR, ladies and gentlemen, creator, actor, and designer. Can I please have PREETI SARKAR over here on stage? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. L. MURLIKRISHNAN, CMO and Co-Founder, Wow Momo. Shobai jara Wow Momo te jao. Enjoy for all the interesting coupons and the discounts. My next speaker over here is SUBHRO SARKAR, Head of Brand and Communications, Ambuja, Neotia Group. Welcome once again. Very, very happy to see you. My next speaker over here, PROMITA SAHA, VP, Karukrit Advertising Pvt Ltd. Karukrit, an absolute legend in Kolkata and Bengal. Thank you so much, PROMITA, for being with us over here. And my next speaker over here is ADOLINA GANGULY, Founder, Institute of Personality and Image Management, IPIM. Thank you so much, ADOLINA.
Big round of applause for my panel here today, especially Murli, who was unwell and under the weather, but he still managed to make it here. We have a very young PREETI SARKAR here, who I think has a considerable fan following here in the audience. So let's hear a bit of a cheer for our panelists. We have PROMITA, we have SUBHRO, and we have the very pretty ADOLINA GANGULY also. Ekটু হাততালি শোনা যাক? Yeah. Luncher pore ekটু, you know, the tempo is a little low key, but I'm sure we'll rev it up from here. To set the context and to set the ball rolling, we don't want to bore you too much with our gyan on stage. We've had enough of that all day with a lot of very serious Gyani people. We're a fun bunch of relatively young people. And Murli is already saying 1 minute hoye geche. Could we have the AV? We're going to start off with something which sets the context rolling as far as what actually is this animal called influencer. AV ta to please chalaben. And let's have the volume high. Volume.
একদিন হঠাৎ করে ইউ রিয়েলাইজ যে তুমি কতটা স্ট্রং। আমি তো পারবোই না, ভেবেছিলাম শহরটা অনেকটাই পাল্টে যাবে। গুড মর্নিং। ঘাসে কে যে আসে এই দেখ নতুন ক্যামেরা নিলাম, প্যাশন ফলো করার জন্য সাহসটা, শুধু সাহস, অনেকটা পরিশ্রম আর When I started PREETI, I honestly thought it was just for my followers. But then I realized we are more than that. So instead of hiring professional models, we started featuring real people from social media. And that connection, it worked like magic.
Yeah, let's hear a big round of applause for that. I'm going to start off with the youngest panelist that we have here, possibly one of the youngest today. I'm not going to ask a pretty lady her age, but we're going to be, in the next half an hour odd, I think 25 minutes odd, we're going to be dwelling upon the topic which is the power of influence, culture, content, and collaboration. PREETI, আমরা এখানে সবাই দেখেছি, we've been accustomed to following you online with your famous one-liner, আমি তো পারবোই না. So this entire universe of being an influencer, being a content creator, what are the typical do's, don'ts, and taboos? What are the মেয়ে এসব করছো, এসব হয়, বিয়ে থা করবে না, পারবেই না. So what was your পারবই moments and challenges that you faced? If you could throw some light on that.
Thank you, Ranada. Hi, everyone. I started content creation from 2018. So তখন অতটা content creation এ যেই ঝড় এসেছিল, মানে এখন যতটা আছে তখন ততটা ছিল না. And when I started, people অতটা বুঝতে পারতো না, স্পেশালি আমি বহরমপুর থেকে, তো সেখানে একদমই এই চলটা ছিল না। দে ওয়ার লাইক যে কী করছে, কেন ভিডিও বানাচ্ছে, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য পারপাস অফ ইট। অ্যান্ড ফর মি অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি জানতাম না যে ইউ ক্যান আর্ন ফ্রম ইট। সো ইট ওয়াজ আ কাইন্ড অফ এন্টারটেনমেন্ট ফর মি, উইচ অ্যাকচুয়ালি এসকেলেটেড টু বি মাই প্রফেশন। 6 years
So
later.
something which you started off as a fun
Yes.
habit or hobby actually dovetailed into
Yeah.
a full-fledged profession.
Yes.
But you had never thought or planned out or started out that etai tomar career hobe.
নো তো আমি দেখেছিলাম আই হ্যাভ সিন মোস্টলি সেন ইফ ইউ নো প্রাজক্তা কোহলি তো আমি তাকে দেখেছিলাম যে থ্রু কন্টেন্ট শি মেড হার ওয়ে ইনটু অ্যাক্টিং তো আই ওয়াজ লাইক যে মেবি দিস ক্যান বি মাই কি সিন্স আই ডু নট হ্যাভ আ ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড অফ অ্যাক্টিং ফ্যামিলি তো আই ওয়াজ লাইক ওকে মেবি আই ক্যান গেট ডিসকভার্ড ফ্রম দিস অ্যান্ড দ্যাট ওয়াজ মাই ওয়ে বাট দেন আমার ফ্যামিলিতে মাই ড্যাড ওয়াজ ভেরি সাপোর্টিভ একদম শুরু থেকে যে ঠিক আছে তুমি করছো করো বিকজ এটাতে কারোর হার্ম হচ্ছে না তুমি বাড়িতে আছো ইউ আর জাস্ট প্ল্যানিং অ্যান্ড শুটিং তো ডেফিনেটলি দ্যাট ওয়াজ সামথিং বাট আস্তে আস্তে আই রিয়েলাইজড দ্য নাম্বার অফ সাবস্ক্রাইবার্স যত তুমি ইউ আর রিচিং টু মোর পিপল রেসপন্সিবিলিটি অনেকটা বেড়ে যায়
What's your sub base? What's your following base today?
ইউটিউবে 1.5 million and Instagram it's 750
Wow, that's incredible. That
It
also
is.
deserves all the tali.
But you know I was stuck at like 24,000 মানে আমার এক বছরে 1 million হয়েছে
Wow.
তো it was just stuck but I kept on going and then it clicked one day but যেটা তুমি জিজ্ঞেস করলে a taboo I really want to state this যে এখনো 6 বছর ধরে আমি যেটা দেখছি সেটা হচ্ছে a lot of people don't understand that content creation can actually be a job and you can earn from it এখনো they are like যে আচ্ছা করছে because it must be a hobby it can't be মানে আমি যে ঘুরতে যাচ্ছি I go on international trips they're like how can you earn to go on an international
See, I've
trip
had my neighborhood kakima saying এই যে পাশের বাড়ির মেয়েটাকে দেখছো না সারাদিন ধেই ধেই করে নাচে এখানে আমার একটা ছোট্ট বন্ধু আছে আমি বলছিলাম সারাদিন ধেই ধেই করে নাচে আর ওই টিকটক বানায় টিকটক আর টিকটিকের মধ্যে পার্থক্য এখনও বাঙালি সেরকমভাবে বুঝে উঠতে পারেনি বাট দোজ হু হ্যাভ অ্যান্ড আই থিঙ্ক দেভ ডান অ্যান ইনক্রেডিবল জব অফ বিং রোল মডেলস ফর দ্য নেক্সট জেনারেশন অ্যাজ টু হাউ কন্টেন্ট ক্যান অ্যাকচুয়ালি ক্রিয়েট অ্যান্ড পেভ দ্য ওয়ে ফর আ proper robust career. We've grown up, Murli, myself, even Shubhro to some extent, we've grown up in advertising and brands and all of that. But আমাদের সময় বাবা বলতেন এই লম্বা চুল কানে দুল এই বাড়িতে না get out. But now today, you know, we have these young Gen Z people. See, I grew up in that era where they would have songs like that. You know, whoever's mobile that was, thank you. Moving to Murli. Murli is one of my favorite bachchas, as I've always called him. Murli always matches his spectacles with his attire. And one of the very few people from the brand universe who proudly wears his brand logo. I think that deserves a round of applause for Wow Momo. It takes a lot of heart to wear what you love, your passion, on your heart itself. Murli, she spoke about coming from a small town in Bahrampur. Very recently, I saw some really cool, you know, I'm not from the gram, oi gramen noi ami, you know, where you've done communication for Calicut, Dimapur, and where not. I mean, I remember seeing Sunny Sanskari ki Tulsi Kumari. মানে আমি সানি বলতে দেখো আমাদের প্রজন্ম we only know of you know the no please ওইটা না I know why people are laughing Sunny Deol you know the next generation Murli's generation of course Sunny and Sanskari and Tulsi Kumari you've had a phenomenal run so far as a QSR brand as a challenger upstart brand some people may call it so to becoming a multi-crore market cap brand of its own. And I feel very proud that these kids are from my college, St. Xavier's alumni, and who've all been brilliant. Murli, how do you see this entire, you've seen that generation evolve into this new era of Instagrammers, of culture, influence, collaboration. How has this journey been?
First of all, thank you, Ranada, for getting me here, and good afternoon, everyone. Whoever whoever shows the most amount of energy, we will be, will be rewarded with Wow Momo vouchers. So please, guys at the back, more energy required, right?
Yeah, the more the energy, the more Wow Momo vouchers.
Yeah, more energy, more Wow Momo voucher.
Always the marketer.
Coming to your point, Ranada, what I think the biggest element of culture is food. I think from the day one, we chose something that was part and parcel of a very strong but hidden fabric of our culture.
You know, digital food for thought. Aaj ke din pe, if you look at
Imagine,
it.
so today food is one of the largest content on Instagram. So if Instagram has got 100 contents, the most amount of content, close to 82 content pieces that make the cake is basically on food or gastronomy. So for us, the biggest part of the biggest success is about taking the most loved street food of the city of joy, which is Momo, and possibly the first city which we explored after Calcutta was Chennai. All of us told us, you guys have lost it, right? But we strongly felt that nothing can beat that subliminal cultural truth of steam acha hai. Because South India is all about steam, right? It's about appams and it's about idlis, right? So we felt if there is this city which believes that steam is good, they will love our food. Today, by God's grace, Chennai is my second biggest market after Calcutta. And it's more profitable than Calcutta, because obviously the kind of AOVs are far higher. So that's where I truly believe that when you take food across the country, and we are now in 80 odd cities in the country.
Speaking of the geographical spread, Murli, I have worked with you personally. I've directed one of your festive films also. You have a fairly wide spectrum of involvement as far as cross-cultural collaborations are concerned, especially on the digital space. So having seen that kind of a spectrum, you have worked with really large influencers. You know, you have the Sunny Sanskaris. I'm not getting into details there. You have ekdam bacha nano influencer. Mane 4-5,000 followers as well as 4 million followers also. How have you gone about defining or categorizing this spectrum?
So something that I've learned in advertising and by this amazing book, and everyone should read it, called Tipping Point. It clearly tells you what is influencer marketing when there was nothing called influencer. So there is typically, you have 4 large blocks of people. The first set of people are broadcaster, who's like Amitabh Bachchan's of our time, and now it's Shah Rukh and other people. Then you have beautiful set of people called salesmen, right? Who are to me the nano influencers.
How do you qualify nano influencers?
Nano influencers are those who have less than, say, 1,000 or less than 5,000 followers. However, they are so interlinked with conversion rates. Their conversion rates are so high. It helps you to build advocacy for your brand.
I think that is a very critical component where even I was a brand custodian of a large behemoth like Reliance. What we typically saw, what gave us the bang for the buck was conversions. Agency would come up with a multi-crore plan, but conversions nahi hoti thi.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think nano influence is also a very critical component.
Helps you to convert very well. And then there are mavens who basically take, help to, cater to a larger set of audiences who are, influencers like, PREETI and all, who are beyond, say, 500K followers or 250K followers, who give you great engagement, who take your content to places.
Actually.
Right? And finally, there are this set of interesting blocks of people who help you to reach out to small segment of people, which are basically, for me, community blocks.
Correct.
So I have this lot of community pages who work with me. I have this amazing women bikers of India community, whom I really work with. I have this Paralympic Olympians, ex-Paralympic Olympians whom I work with. I work with mothers, very strangely, and not for people would think that why is a food brand like Wow Momo working with mothers. So I have this community of mothers whom we work with, understand the community problems. We try to do a lot of things to solve at a grassroots level, which is beyond food, because they are one of the biggest decision makers when it comes to nutrition of their kids.
Correct.
So what we realized is mother chooses a steamed Momo over a burger in a food court, thinking that, yeah, it's better to eat this than that. So I am a far more healthier option in their mind.
Wow. Right? See, speaking of mothers, daughters, and the ilk who've come up.
I'll give you one more anecdote, small anecdote. Recently, not recently, a few years back, we had done a very interesting, experiment. So our Wow China products are without monosodium glutamate, without
MSG,
right? And I'm not saying MSG is good, bad, because multiple papers have come today which talks about MSG se kuch nahi hota and all. But that time MSG was a big deal breaker for a Chinese brand. So we were the first Indian Chinese brand to have without MSG. We went to these mothers, they gave us an idea. Through them, we reached out to pregnant women community. We did pregnant women. The craving, ice cream and Chinese are the two biggest cravings for pregnant women. We did an experiment across 40 pregnant women across the country.
So all you would-be mothers and those who are already married, I'm not getting into the personal domains. Now you know cravings jab hoti hai, what you need to deep dive into. So I will cut you short a little bit here, Murli. We have a paucity of time. Quickly moving to ADOLINA. I had promised not to rag her on stage, but a big applause for ADOLINA Ganguly, who's doing a fantastic job being one of the foremost institutions in Calcutta which grooms people who are becoming stars or who have great following or who want to become better groomed, educated, etc. We also, you spoke about followers. I'm involved with an OTT called Click, where we even had a web series called Followers. And we are often, we have this paucity of well-groomed actors, performers, or what have you. How has your journey been when it comes to grooming, individuals? Or you've even gone and had great sessions in IIT Guwahati of late also. How has that journey been of grooming young aspirants who want to become the next PREETI SARKAR or the next Murli or the next SUBHRO or even PROMITA? How does that journey account for you?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks to IWMBuzz Media Summit for having me here. And I feel elated to share the panel with such eminent panelists. And thank you, Rana, for asking me this question. Now, before answering this question, I need to give a bit of background. So today's context is culture, content, and collaboration, right? So if we figure out in the influencing market, content plays a very important role. It's one of the main infrastructure with media strategies coming together to influence people, right? Now, influencers, if they have to create a mark, they need to understand the emotion of the people.
Here we saw a bit of that video also where there is an ungroomed woman who's actually going out in the world and becoming a more sought after thing. So does your brand also help people reach that zenith?
Of course it does. Of course it does. So why am I saying the emotion part? Once you know the emotion, you can actually figure out that how you need to groom yourself, right?
Lovely.
So grooming helps people because when we hear the word grooming, it means, she or he is wearing expensive clothes or something like that.
This is not really the outer budget makeup and hair and clothes, etc. It's also the inner beauty or the core qualities of an individual. Thanks a lot, ADOLINA. We spoke about emotions. We spoke about, mothers and ice creams and what have you. I'll move on to SUBHRO. I'll come to PROMITA last because there's something relevant we have in mind. SUBHRO, real estate is something which there's not much of emotion per se that shows in the outer, context. Your purchase or your propensity to purchase a house, there's a lot of fiscal prudence. There's, of course, dream home, etc. There are a lot of IPs that are being created in the real estate hospitality segment also, which your company is into. What are the newer modes of activations and IPs that such a serious involvement of category has brought forward, especially in the digital world?
Thank you, Rana, for asking this question, and good evening to everyone. So I would say that real estate is a very layered industry. The kind of stakeholders that you have in the industry is very diverse. It's just not the consumers that really help you to get going, because there's a very large regulatory framework. The design is the key differentiator. So you have the architects, you have the community, because there's a lot of things to do with environment and pollution and the land usage, greenery.
See, when you spoke about greenery, I am a buyer, I'm a consumer of your brand. My first house that I bought was in Bengal, Ambuja, only because Balkrishna Doshi and his open green spaces was the biggest hook there. But are you actively creating communities which help in further bringing down the cascading effect of more buyers coming into your fold, or dovetailing that concept?
See,
of
the whole
community?
idea for us is like we represent a brand which is which more or less focuses on a very strong Indian modernity. So we take we respond to climate and culture. We remain very rooted, and we look at how people are actually living or inhabiting spaces, how they interact, how they
because it's a lifetime investment.
It's
right?
a lifetime.
It's a serious
when you
investment.
said, it's not emotion. It's all about emotions. It's today people are investing into something which where they have to spend their 20 years of income. So it's just not only fiscal prudence, it's a lot of emotional decision. So yes, so what we are doing in the end, and we function as a very, very boutique real estate company or a hospitality company. So we operate in a very niche, we are very specific in terms of a product, in terms of a segment. So naturally our dependence on the mass media is very limited. And that's how we curate a lot of activities and events and around the various
So let me ask you a very pointed question since you dwell on this subject. Would you have a popular young Gen Z influencer like her, or let's say a brand like Wow Momo, would you ever think of collaborating with such new generation brands and ideas in real estate?
I thought you were Rana Basu THAKUR and not Nitish Rana bowling this Yorker to me.
I won't even get into these CAGR growth figures that we deliberated
so
on.
I think as I was saying, we function as a industry where credibility plays a very important role. And that's why we look at even collaboration from the perspective of who are more like curator for us, who can represent what we stand for, what we believe in, and where we create the connection. So that is the reason if we find that collaborator who is able to carry forward or their values intersects our values and our ethos, we will definitely look at that.
So Gen Z can always say, "Badi kinte parboi na," will be a "have parboi," and we'll buy from Bengal Ambuja. Thank you, SUBHRO. That was a rather insightful take on what real estate has been doing, even hospitality for that matter. You have your prenatal care services that you also have. You spoke about the cultural ethos and the entire paradigm of how this digital world has evolved. I'll move on to PROMITA, who runs a brand and a company which has a 92-year-old legacy, if I'm not mistaken. Karukrit Advertising she is one of the pioneers as far as outdoor is concerned. Now, here is a little bit of a prejudice, to brand marketers like us. When I used to take decisions on outdoor, it would be, only a handful of companies that we would refer to. And typically, my sales and marketing boys would be saying, "Nana, the outdoor ke liye sochte hai kuch." So, hoardings and outdoors is not only what OH is about. It's also about the culture, it's about the collaboration. It's not only confined to Durga Puja kota hoarding lagachi or, KMC flexes and banners. It's way beyond that. There's activations, there is real-time, collaborations, even with Instagrammers like this. How has that journey been defined as far as Karukrit and you are concerned?
Thank you, everyone, IWMBuzz Media for having me here. Yes, Karukrit officially started in 1932. So, in fact, when you talk about culture, if you think about it, for any city, if you're traveling to Dubai or if you're traveling to Mumbai or even Calcutta, out of home is a part of actually the culture that we all stay in. So we have been, yes, I mean, that's a legacy that we, when I joined the company in 2018 after my stint in corporate for around 14 years, the first thing that hit me was that, yes, there is a brand and there is a very strong perception of that Karukrit is equal to, an 80 by 40, 40 by 40, Ma flyover, Park Circus, gantry, right? And I see Sarfaraz smiling because he still thinks that that's all that we do. But the reason why today Karukrit diversifies in out of home is because we as a company and we as a family, we ourselves are very passionate about the culture that we've been brought up in. I mean,
right.
What I genuinely...
So all your marketing endeavors has a very deep-rooted cultural ethos embedded somewhere, at least in the mind space.
It is. আমাদের বাঙালিরা আমরা কাউকে যদি একটু কিছু বাজে কথা বলতে আমরা বলি না, দেখ কোনো কালচার নেই, দেখ কিভাবে কথা বলছে,
uncultured
কথা বলছে, কালচার নেই. So what we have to understand is that somebody who is not passionate about a particular topic can never become a content creator, right? If Preeti was not passionate about the character that she's playing or when she's writing, তোর problem হয় না. maybe it's
she's
doing
quoting
a
you.
very, comedy, comically she's saying it. But she passionately believes that, I am capable of doing content and I am going to do it. So as we stand, Karukrit, we are very, very passionate about cultural festivals in India. Most importantly, East and Northeast. And I am extremely grateful for, clients. One of our, Shamrat is in the audience. So we've been getting opportunities where we are creating content in a
Shamrat
platform,
Sarfaraz, take note, please.
Ultratech, yes. So we are getting opportunities where you have the festival, you have the insight, you have what the consumer wants from you during that festival. And the fourth thing is how a brand can be a part of that consumer.
See, I think what the takeout is, what is most important is, are conversions happening? Are these merely, huge macro spends that typically media planners and agencies coming up with? Are they converting into real numbers when it comes to consumers, when it comes to buyers, when it comes to real customers? I think that is the moot point here, where OH, digital, the entire social media ecosystem plays a very key part in enmeshing all of this together. And that's what we've been deliberating on, how brands have been successfully making forays into creating an ecosystem where all these components work well. You spoke about Parboina.
When you say conversion,
right?
When we are doing on-ground campaigns, at least the first acid test is you have designed an experiential thing for your consumers. Is there even a queue?
Absolutely.
Are people even coming, wearing an Oculus and seeing what you have built for them?
I think that's a brilliant insight,
so
because
that's the first stage.
True.
And on-ground gives you that acid test. Digital,
absolutely.
You get to know how many impressions, but what we used to say as point of truth. The first point of truth in an activation is मैंने बहुत सही design फाड़ दिया मैंने design वो बहुत सही VR कर लिया एक भी customer नहीं है वहाँ पे
इतना खर्च लिया and typically my CFO is like marketing और sales के बीच झगड़ा लगे. Murli has an interesting insight into this.
I have a small POV on this, and it's got nothing to do with Momos or brand. I think all great movements in the world are on ground.
Absolutely.
If you did not have Chauri Chaura, you wouldn't have Independence Movement. If you did not have Rosa Parks being thrown out of the train, you wouldn't have Martin Luther King. If you did not have Mr. Gandhi being kicked out of that train, you wouldn't have Mr. Gandhi in India. So I think everything is on ground. And I'll bring you an example and quickly finish it. 2007 was the first time when the TMC came on ground and tied Rakhi to every single individual in Lake Market. At that time, SUBHRO Mukherjee was the mayor. Everyone in Southern Avenue, across Garyahat, the entire stretch from Kalighat to Garyahat, they tried Rakhi on Raksha Bandhan Day, 2008. And that's where they came on ground and told that we are taking care of we are doing the Raksha. That's why 2011
I think that's a beautiful
If Shingur wouldn't have happened, she wouldn't have been at 2011 where she said.
Absolutely. I think on-ground movement leading to conversions, leading to real-time on your books numbers. And I think we are making good time for a change. We are all in time. Preeti, all of these seniors of yours in the industry spoke about, how they've all, surmounted various obstacles and this entire paradigm of Parvo and Parboina. I mean, I've been following you quite diligently, and you're now a content creator also, other than being a digital maverick, where you're doing your own micro series. That was Bhool Theke Shuru, right? I've been, literally devouring that content, and you've gone out there, brought real estate, found out ways and means to order on QSR, got yourself groomed Salman Khaner moton jama kapod pore. You've had a cultural binding with Durga Puja and activation. She's done all of that, as that video showed. Bhool Theke Shuru, again, is a new paradigm of the Instagram, that utopian world. How has this experience been, and what inspired you to start this? Do you see yourself as a brand marketer of such content also, or are you just merely doing because of the passion that's deeply ingrained within you?
I wanted to create something that has story. I love telling stories, so it is essentially a rom-com love story. But if I want, I can get in brands because
এদের সবার
ultimately
জীবনে রোম্যান্স আছে, আমার জীবনে শুধু কম আছে সবকিছু, রম তো নেই।
no, but if you want, you can get in brands. Like right now, brands are sponsoring into mini series. Current mini series is something that audiences get connected to the thing because it's a part by part thing. It's not just a 1 minute video, you're scrolling up and then you're forgetting, you're waiting for the next part. So that's a way that they are getting connected, and right now a lot of brands are doing mini series like micro dramas because people মানে যেমন একটা সিনেমা দেখলে আমাদের মাথায় একদম থেকে যায় যে আচ্ছা এই সিনেমাটা এরকম ছিল, মিনি সিরিজ মেবি একটা 1/4 part of it যে কিছুটা হলেও it's not forgettable.
See, the attention span is also waning, it's on the decline, so you have to quickly, it's the swipe left, swipe right generation. কি হয় ছাতার মাথা বুঝি না, oh sorry, up and down,
That's
whatever.
the dating app you're saying.
No, Murli, don't even get there, don't even get there. Rom এই জন্যই কম. So I'll quickly move to Murli before we wrap up. Murli, you've been working with a lot of creators, and I remember directing this amazing Durga Puja Diwali campaign also for you. And we are also launching a new podcast channel where I can unofficially say off the records that we're creating an absolutely new horizon as far as podcasts are concerned, where his brand will be also presenting. This new era of podcasts, people who are doing digital micro series, where do you see your brand coming into this picture?
So we've been heavily invested into content, right? All our, if you know about the entire WOW stories.
No, would you want to focus more on the sanskari, the huge stars, or you're looking at these nano influencers as well as smaller content?
So
because I speak on
it.
behalf of the student community also.
You would be needing bit of everything, another. It's never, and you have to be at it. Lot of people who say that brands are already invested into web series or brands are already invested into micro series, but who is at it? Are you at it? So I have chosen 4 things, and I do it perfectly well. And I'm constantly at it for the past 4 years. And I know that I will be at it until they are relevant. The
Lovely.
formats are relevant.
Lovely. I think we've just about finished in time, and all my speakers have had an opportunity to deliberate on a fantastic subject of culture, content, and collaboration. Going forward, I think from this stage itself, a lot of collaborations and interactions would happen where all of us are old friends, but renew our ties of collaboration and certainly create some really kick-ass content. It's been a pleasure being here for the second year. I'd really like to thank Siddharth Laik and his entire team of wonderful people. Debayut, can we have a round of applause for all the people who've been toiling really hard all day at the console? Debayut and his team, I see Debayut there. Thank you, Siddharth. And of course, this handsome young man who have committed, we'll probably make him a star in one of our web series soon. It's been a delight being here, deliberating with these wonderful speakers. And of course, you've been a very supportive audience also. I hope we've had a fun time chatting. I promise not to rag you.
I'll just make one point that, all across India, and this is for the media buyers here, often as an outdoor media owner or out of home, we are now a lot below, the media hierarchy. And in one of my last panels, the question was, is out of home the last unskippable last medium?
Neete hi hobe ota last.
मेरे पास एक ही answer है, that whether it is Preeti Sarkar or it is Kusha Kapila, when they see themselves on a Karukrit's 40x40,
Kya baat. I think that deserves a round of applause.
The power of out of home still is.
Wonderful. That hits home. That out of home hits home right here. Adolina, would you want to add something to sum up? Here is the first time we are allowing people to pitch for new clients, new collaborations.
Thank you, Ranada, for being so generous. Now, what looking at Preeti, I started my career of grooming social media influencers because that was new to me. Because some social media influencer, I'm not naming her, she's really doing great, she came to me. Her problem statement was that how do I differentiate? And that's where I could understand these people are understanding this term, and she could connect.
Correct.
And we were always speaking. Preeti's, I watch her reels, she connects with the audience so well.
So we want, thousands of more Preetis coming as the next Preeti Zens.
And as you can see, have you seen Preeti's journey, the way she started
Absolutely.
and the way she's positioned herself, that's very important.
I think that is the key point, that you know, the younger generation, there are a lot of students here from Heritage. I've had the opportunity of teaching in various B schools. I mean, EJ college dropout hochilam, but it feels really good to be feeling that energy of the younger minds that completely stimulate you to the next level of thinking. I'm sure there'll be a lot of young students here who would want to engage. Do meet up with all of them offline, and I hope you've had a nice time hearing, you know, what these stalwarts and this young generation had to deliberate on this subject. Thank you very much. Look forward to a fantastic panel. Right after this is Raja Chando, Srijit, Monami, and Obhijit. There's going to be a fantastic panel, and let's hope we have a great year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ranada. Big round of applause for all of them. I request all of you to remain on stage. I'm going to be calling up on stage Dr. Rajiv Rastogi, founder, managing director, White Apple Studios on stage. Please to give the token of appreciation to our speakers.